That was interesting.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
There has to be, like, some way to get down. Like, there must be, like, walls you can, like, go through. Because, like, why would...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, hold on.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Like, there's a Stanley collectible. Like, okay, please don't close the door on me.
Stanley was so bad
Oh,
at following
you mother-
directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Like, bro, how do you get... Oh my god, wait. Oh. Oh, that's it. That's how you get up? Oh my... That's how you get down? What? Oh, oh shit. Uh-oh. Wait, what?
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path.
What the fuck?
That it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path. That it seemed the office had begun. So far.
Well, that was easy enough, I guess.
That it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path. That it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path.
The end is never 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 the end. All right, shut up there.
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be
There must be some, like...
Life being an unending waterfall
Wait, I
of
forgot I could
surprises and
crouch.
delights.
Hold up.
How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do.
I forgot you could crouch in this game.
Now
There has to be areas where you have to
This is
crouch,
all
right?
your fault.
Because, like, what? Like, why? I've never even crouched in the game, I don't think. Have I? What the fuck? Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Let me take the bucket,
Stanley picked up the bucket
just
and
for good
smiled.
measures.
He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Alright, so... We go...
No, said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes.
Oh, this is
go
treacherous.
there. Go to the cargo lift.
This is treacherous.
Okay,
Give
I'm
me
going
that.
back to the name of these little
Yes,
Stanley
4 out of
figurines.
6.
And now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think,
Figlies?
Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that
What
you
about
get from seeing a small number in the corner of your
collectible
screen go up by
stands?
1?
Was that what it
Let me
was
sit
called
on
the first
I'm
time?
sure it will
Or
come
what
to
you
me.
called it one time? I don't remember. Anyway, can I get down here without, like, you know, taking fall damage? Probably, right? I mean, there's gotta be a way, you know? Gotta figure this out. This is reminding me of that one level in Apeirophobia. I won't take damage.
But Stanley
Ow!
thought that any path he
Ow!
walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Dang. I mean, if this was real life, I'm pretty sure I would have been fine, you know?
All of his
Maybe-
co-workers were gone.
Maybe I would have,
What
like,
could it mean?
sprained
Stanley
my
decided to go
leg
to the
or
meeting
broken
room.
a bone.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket, off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this no? Never mind. The bucket was
Alright, we're
wrong.
gonna go this way now, because I'm pretty sure I've checked everything over there, so...
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
There must be some, like, secret wall I can walk through, though. Because, like, why wouldn't there be? You know, this game's weird, so, like... I mean, why not make it weirder? Maybe. Wait. What way is this? What way? Well, there's only one way to find out. Okay, well. Back on track, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to find them. I'm trying to find them all. Trust me. There's none in the broom closet, so...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Maybe there's one on the stage. You know, when you keep going up and down the elevator.
Manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
We'll look.
Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
2845.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Okay. Alright.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3.
Ooh,
I want
the
to go
number
back
3?
so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
Okay, I'm gonna press number 3 and see what happens. Alright, I'm gonna press the number 3. Here we go.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number
3.
3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over.
Got it. Oh shoot, nothing happened.
Well, he said, the number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to
why
him?
won't it work?
Once Stanley had
Has
had
to
enough
work.
of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
No, I haven't had enough. I'm still doing it. I'm still trying it. Never give up. Okay, nothing's gonna happen. It's pretty clear that nothing's gonna happen because the narrator hadn't said anything yet, so he probably never
Perhaps
will.
the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
Let's go back up.
No, 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 said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
Alright. Why would the bucket say nothing? Like, does the bucket have, like, is the bucket, like, introverted? Why doesn't he say anything?
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all.
Yeah, he's,
silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley
he's an
returned
introvert.
to the elevator.
Okay, nothing. Yeah, nothing. Okay, wow. Well. Alright, so back down we go.
Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be?
And back up we go. What, he's just not gonna say anything? Or, like, what the hell?
Ah, said Stanley.
Oh,
I
this
know
is
what
the
to
stage
do.
part.
I know how to
Stage
fully
fright.
express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then
The
and
bucket's
there
gonna get stage
that he
fright.
would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over
Hell
and
yeah.
over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive.
3 is a
pressing
magic
it.
number.
Then the
3,
bucket
6,
would be
9,
able to
12,
see
15,
his joy
18,
through the
21,
eyes
24,
of others.
27, 30.
It would get to see the world
Mom
react
and
to
Dad
this
had a
discovery
little
of
baby.
Stanley's. And it would be
A
through
man
the
and a
public
woman
eye
had
that
a
the
baby.
bucket would finally
Yes, they
understand
did.
Stanley's
They
work.
were 3 in a family.
For months, he advertised and marketed his press conference.
No
building
more, no
excitement
less.
around it,
You don't
developing
have
and
to
rehearsing it,
guess.
until it couldn't be
Because
refined a
3
single measure
It's a
further.
magic number.
When the big day arrived,
Yeah,
Stanley was as
3
prepared
is
as
a
he'd ever
magic
been
number.
for anything in his life.
Yeah, 3 is a magic.
This was it. One last chance to win the bucket over. One
3,
opportunity to share a
3,
true
3,
connection with
3,
a loved one.
3. That's the new 6, 7. 3, 3. 3, 3. 3, 3.
There was no one here.
Oh shit.
Nobody had come to the press
Seriously?
conference to hear Stanley speak.
Nobody's
to listen to him
supporting
talk
me
about
anymore?
What it really means
Oh,
to press the
man.
number 3 on a keypad over and over. He was unloved, uninteresting. He was a failure.
What
And in
it
that
really
moment,
means press the number
Stanley
3 on the
knew
keypad over
bucket
and over
would
again.
never again
Presented by
take him
Stanley.
seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years,
Wow.
the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke
Why is nobody
less and
supporting
less,
me
neither
anymore?
wishing to state the
I lost
obvious,
all my
that any sense of
subscribers.
real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back, into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
Oh. I'm the only one alive in this world. Right? No one else. Yeah. And we're back. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Great. Okay,
what
cool.
could it mean?
Great.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Now let's go to the left.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Uh-huh. Yep. Oh.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Wait, let me go down again, actually, you know? Wait, okay. This is the infinite thing,
But
right?
Stanley just couldn't do it.
Wasn't
He
it?
considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours.
Is
He
this
might be
it?
fired for
Yeah,
that.
it's the
and in such a
infinite thing.
competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All
It's
because
the
he
infinite
believed
thing,
everyone had
man. Okay.
vanished. His boss would think he was...
Let me see what happens if I take the bucket down.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Downstairs it is.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired
Alright,
for that.
81,000
And in such a
times.
competitive economy, why had he taken that risk?
If you know, you know.
All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times.
12,
such as
11,
these.
12.
He held the bucket close.
11,
yet
12.
felt
Wait, does that
none
number
of its
change?
familiar
It has to, right?
reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket.
11,
It's just
12.
a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How
Right.
did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no
No.
good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of
Didn't
bizarre
change.
hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket.
Oh yeah, I forgot. If you
Now
don't
he
have
noticed the rooms
another
were
arm,
empty,
you can
which was, of course, very
play
odd.
this too. Yeah.
Now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad.
Am I getting
Where is
tall?
it?
Wait,
I
oh
must
God.
find it.
Oh, I
Far off in
forgot
the
this
distance
part.
now, he heard it.
Or I didn't forget this part. I just forgot like you get tall and short.
Stanley, it's
and-
me, the
Yeah.
bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed
God,
forward
what
from room
the-
to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them
Oh,
were his.
crap.
None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley.
Where's mine?
Find me.
Is
He
this
had
it?
to find the bucket.
Where is it? Which
he had
one?
to return
Which
to his
one
old
of you?
friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then
Ugh, so
suddenly,
many
he was
imposters.
dead in his tracks. He knew where
God.
the voice of the bucket had been coming from.
Where are you,
The
bucket?
real
Where?
bucket was inside of him all along.
Did I eat
It
it?
was incredibly painful.
Oh yeah, I ate it.
Stanley
That was
doubled
painful.
over
I
in
bet.
agony and blacked out.
Oh, I ate a bucket? Wow. That's insane.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Mariella.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work.
Oh, it's this
But on this
shit.
particular day,
It's
her
this
walk was
shit
interrupted
again.
by the body of a man who had stumbled through town,
She
talking
cut
and
the
screaming
bucket
to
out of my
himself, and then collapsed dead on the
intestines.
sidewalk. Right away, she
Whatever.
knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. and she backflipped all the way
Swear
to
word.
work.